Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's involvement in John Cena's 2025 farewell tour was highly anticipated, yet ultimately underwhelming in this recent chapter of WWE. What began as a promising storyline between two wrestling giants devolved into an overcooked creative mess due to scheduling conflicts, abandoned plot points that didn't get paid off, an inadequate follow-through, highlighting both the potential, the pitfalls, and astronomical expectations blending with Hollywood star power within the active wrestling narrative of WWE. Cena's year-long farewell, intended to celebrate a 2-decade-plus career as one of the biggest to ever do it, took an unexpected turn when the creative team behind WWE, led by Triple H, decided to surprise everyone, and we mean everyone, by doing a heel turn with John Cena at Elimination Chamber in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. A long-demanded but previously avoided move by WWE to keep John Cena's family-friendly, fan-favorite hero for the masses who want to see him kick the ass's image. The Rock was brought in to supply a dramatic spark, maybe someone who could actually pivot and force that change in a way we never saw coming, which he did. And at the closing scene of Elimination Chamber, The Rock returned as the final boss once again and demanded that the valiant, fighting for the masses, WWE champion Cody Rhodes sell his soul to The Rock. And when Cody refused, John Cena, visibly overjoyed, hugged Cody with a warm embrace. Yeah, good guys doing good guy stuff together, only to shockingly hit him below the belt. Yes, and wear an infamous grimace on his face, showing that he was beating down Cody along with rapper Travis Scott, who was there, and aligned with The Rock in a betrayal that instantly invigorated fans and critics and was trending across the world. When they hit a scene and pulled it off, it was a big deal. I was there. The air sucked out of the Sky Dome Rogers Center. Even though it was cold outside, everyone's hearts were racing, drawing comparisons to Hulk Hogan's WCW 1996 heel turn to join the NWO. However, this explosive start quickly faltered. The soul-selling concept was never revisited. The Rock mysteriously vanished from WWE TV weeks later, even missing WrestleMania 41, where his presence was the most anticipated. Fans were expecting a confrontation between Cena, Cody, and The Rock, and were instead met with rapper Travis Scott out there again. Scott appeared at WrestleMania 41, interfering in the main event between Cena and Cody Rhodes by removing the referee. This allowed Cena to use his championship belt to defeat Cody, claiming a record-breaking 17th World Championship. Despite the historical achievement, which it is, the convoluted, overdone ending, and Travis Scott's forced appearance, The Rock's absence, though it was never clear he was 100% going to be there, but the expectation was built to, and it wasn't met, and that meant you were going to get a lot of backlash and a lot of disappointed, angry fans. The move was widely panned for substituting a wrestling legend with a celebrity lacking the wrestling oomph, and some would argue The Rock is a bigger celebrity than Travis Scott. That's a different video. With veteran reporter of wrestling Big Papa Dave Meltzer calling the finish one of the worst. Behind the scenes, the disarray was evident. The Rock later claimed on the Pat McAfee show that he decided to pull out of the storyline after the Elimination Chamber, claiming that he didn't want to overshadow Cena or Cody and that the final boss arc was done. Insiders, however, acclaim and speculate that his departure was because of his packed Hollywood schedule, which is very evident and public, and his ability as a TKO group member to maybe dictate more of his involvement. His sudden exit forced WWE to scrap the completion or more of what fans were expecting or looking forward to with the sell your soul concept and hastily substitute Travis Scott, a move that felt just like a downgrade. The Rock's unfinished exit also created creative tension, with suggestions of clashes between Triple H and The Rock over the storyline's direction, though no public confirmation by either side. The Rock reportedly intended to have a brief cameo, while Triple H designed a longer storyline arc through WrestleMania, leaving WWE trying to rewrite months of storylines with big payoffs on a short notice. While some fans speculate that The Rock intentionally ruined John Cena's retirement tour, which is just pretty ridiculous, we feel that's not the case. The tour's uneven presentation and clashing narratives explain why people feel maybe The Rock ruined it. Finger quotes there. But there's no credible reporting that he intentionally did so. For John Cena, the ordeal was maybe frustrating. His career-defining heel turn, something anticipated for a long time, simply didn't deliver. It had a strong start at Elimination Chamber. Those promos were interesting as they got going, but the narrative felt lost without the anchor of The Rock being the dark side that turned him. After WrestleMania, Cena rapidly reverted to his heroic persona before SummerSlam, with WWE seemingly abandoning the final boss angle entirely by mid-year, in time for Cody and Cena to right the wrong of WrestleMania 41 with a big main event at SummerSlam. The creative shift was seen as maybe an admission of failure or recorrecting course, with internal WWE reports characterizing Cena's farewell as a possible failure. Still, it's Cena's farewell performance in every town he's hitting, and it's drawing big sold-out crowds and added interest to every show that he is featured on. And there's some confusion arising about inconsistent public statements from The Rock, Triple H, and Cena regarding creative control. Certainly, they all have an influence, and maybe one of them has the most influence. While The Rock and Triple H suggested that Cena had the right to choose his path, Cena contradicted this, stating that he followed creative creative guidance. This fueled rumors of Cena being unhappy. Maybe that's just pure speculation, though he remained publicly diplomatic, like he's always been. The Rock's WrestleMania no-show, or rather not showing when expected, also tarnished his reputation, with some fans who felt he parachuted in to capitalize on Cena's turn and then abandoned it, which still is a double negative. While it would be an overstatement to say that he ruined Cena's farewell tour, the disappointment was real, as fans expected an epic culmination of their past feuds. Critics echoed these statements, pointing out the lack of a payoff. The muddled soul-selling aspect in The Rock's disappearance was just a major misstep, calling his explanation maybe just more than anything just self-serving. WWE adapted, recovering by recentering the farewell tour on Cena himself. The latter half featured nostalgic bouts and tributes with acclaimed matches against Cody Rhodes, the internet bad boy Logan Paul, and AJ Styles that helped mitigate the early negative sentiment and focus the attention on John Cena's career. However, the damage from The Rock's involvement, or inconsistent involvement, kind of persisted. The storyline became a cautionary tale about using part-time stars and celebrities without making sure you got that payoff. But there's also the issue of The Rock's recent box office bomb, a setback that really didn't cook, in the highly anticipated film The Smashing Machine, a biographical drama where Johnson portrays MMA fighter Mark Kerr. It opened to an underwhelming $6 million domestic box office in its first weekend, with analysts at cage-side seats noting the film would likely need around $50 million to turn a profit, making it very unlikely to recover that budget, at least at the box office. Despite strong reviews for The Rock's performance, this is a flop, and any feel it could damper hopes of him finally getting an Oscar award. And it may be the lowest opening weekend of The Rock's career. Seeing the movie, though, in person, I can say it is his best performance to date, and outclasses anything else in his filmography. The Brahma Bull himself responded graciously on social media, saying that while you can't control the box office results, the transformative acting experience was still deeply meaningful to him. He also signaled that he's not trying to retreat from Hollywood. In fact, he's more auteur-driven, to projects like working with Martin Scorsese and Darren Aronofsky in the pipeline, and other films that he will move on to after The Smashing Machine. So this has sparked up discussions of whether or not The Rock will return to WWE. The WWE Universe last saw the final boss at the closing moments of Elimination Chamber, as we've already discussed. Now, with his 2025 film really not performing, speculation is high that he might consider a return to the wrestling world while he readies for another big movie. The 2026 Royal Rumble and the WrestleMania 43 are all coming up, and they are set to be held in the big money platform that is Saudi Arabia. It's well known that people that are fans of the legendary superstars like The Rock would love to see him there. In fact, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that Saudi Arabia's sports authority has negotiated for The Rock's return at WrestleMania 43, signaling a willingness to invest heavily in The Rock appearing on that show. If this report proves to be accurate, the timeline being discussed would have The Rock back in a WWE ring sometime in late 2026 or early 2027, building towards WrestleMania 43 in Riyadh. So, WWE is looking to really use The Rock's star power for some huge global events, and this aligns with their recent shift towards hosting large international shows. It's been a rumor for ages, but it looks like his return would mean a massive stage and a big paycheck, which the TKO group seems to be pretty keen on, as any wrestling company would be keen on. As Cena gradually prepares for his retirement match in December, the farewell tour has reignited emotional significance. Fans now admire Cena's resolve in transforming a chaotic year into a heartfelt goodbye. However, the middle of his retirement journey will always be remembered for the chaos surrounding The Rock's in-and-out performance with it, a brief comeback, and a reminder that even the brightest stars can't save a storyline without ongoing dedication.